Heading via Zoom to Los Angeles to speak to our correspondent Natalie Sady. Welcome. I've been wanting to catch up with you
Thanks,
for a
Scott.
while now because I still don't know what the lie of the land is in the States. Is Donald Trump the incumbent president in or out? Has he won or lost the election? Because from all the reports in Australia and from a number of reports around the world, Joe Biden has been declared the president-elect. What's the state of play from your perspective? You're in the country. What are they saying?
So in the country, CNN, NBC, even TMZ, all of these mainstream media outlets are absolutely calling Joe Biden president-elect. The reality of the situation is the media does not have the power to call the election. They don't. They can name their projections of who they believe is going to win. But until it is certified and the Electoral College have voted, there is no outcome to this election. And as people in Australia do know, because I've seen it in the Australian media, there are a number of court cases and legal proceedings taking place in some of those key states that will ultimately determine who the winner of this election is. So it's quite incredible watching the media talk about this as if it is a fact when we're actually quite a way off having a winner. The other thing that I will talk about in regards to what the media is doing, they are essentially pressuring and demanding that Donald Trump concede the election. They're saying you've clearly lost, it's a landslide, concede and let's all move on. If anybody remembers back in 2000, Bush versus Gore, there was one of the key states that was up for debate. There was something that was going on there. Al Gore's team started legal proceedings. Something happened along the way. Al Gore conceded and said, all right, I didn't win, I concede to George W. And ultimately, Al Gore was found to have won that 2000 election, but because he had conceded, he was unable to take that presidency. So I think you'll find that the reason behind people being so desperate for Donald Trump to concede is that it then doesn't matter what the outcome of the legal proceedings are, because he wouldn't be able to take his place as president. And if we know Donald Trump, he is a stubborn individual and he is going to see this through. What happens after the outcome is sort of made clear? Well, that's up for debate. I think it's incredibly irresponsible of the media to be saying he won't leave. We don't know.
Right. So I think there is a date, December the 7th or something like that, that will be one of the key dates.
Correct. December 14th is when the Electoral College meet.
Right.
So there is a time crunch in terms of the legal proceedings. So the other thing is there are slowly starting to be some little Trump wins. In a couple of different states now, there have been memory cards found or USB sticks found with votes, which do have votes for Trump. May not swing those states for him, but the fact that it's now happened in one or two different states, it's showing a bit of a pattern. There is questions about the software that has been used, Dominion. They have been accused of having glitches. Ironically, those glitches always end up in favor of Biden and the Democrats. So this is the basis for the proceedings that Trump has put forward. The other thing is there are meant to be people observing the counts, and there are multiple reports and photos and video of people not being allowed to observe the way legally they are allowed to. So this is where all these discrepancies are taking place, and this is what Trump is fighting. There was a really incredible video that I watched by comedian JP Sears, and the video is entitled How a Civil War Could Start. And he talks about what the media has done in terms of labeling Joe Biden president-elect when that is not the case. They don't have power over those decisions. And he's talked about all the possible outcomes. And his whole point at the end of this was, this shouldn't be, as much as we have our preferred candidates that we want to be in power, they may do the recounts, they may go through all the legal proceedings, and Joe Biden turns out to be president-elect, and that's great. But if it turns out that it's Trump that comes through as president, we have all these people that have been celebrating. You've seen footage of them in the streets in their thousands, tens of thousands, and all of a sudden they're going to have to deal with the fact that what they were celebrating wasn't so. So there is a great divide that's being caused, and watching this fight in the courts should more be about democracy winning and democracy happening the way it's meant to, versus about which candidate comes through at the end in terms of what people are focusing on.
You know, what is incredible, we've got a number of world leaders around the world, around the globe, who've already congratulated Joe Biden for the election victory. I wonder what will happen should things turn out to be completely the other way. There'll be a lot of red faces. What is the feeling on the ground in LA at the moment? You're there. What's the feeling between the average person? What do they make of the Trump and Biden post-election battle?
It really depends on what media people are watching. So if California's always been a very democratic state, so people are really excited that Biden is deemed the leader, and I think there will be mayhem if the results go in Trump's favour, and then there are a lot of people that are feeling very disillusioned with it. So time will tell. It's another one for 2020.
Oh, look, it's been a year and then some. Your take has been most interesting, and you're absolutely right from the very beginning. The media has a role to play, but it doesn't have the right to declare the election until the result is officially confirmed by all the official parties. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for taking us through it and giving us an idea why we're seeing so much toing and froing between the two biggest names in American politics at the moment, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. As usual, we look forward to seeing you again real soon. Nat Sady, thank you for joining us on The Informer.
Thanks, George.